With the migrant crisis showing no sign of easing in the EU, a new trend is gaining ground, that of more Muslim refugees converting to Christianity. Some churches across Europe report mass baptisms being carried out. Trinity Church in Berlin says its parish has recently grown to 700, mostly due to Muslim converts. In Hamburg, 80 Muslim refugees from Iran and Afghanistan were baptized last week. In Austria, just in the first 3 months of this year, there have been 300 applications for adult christenings, and the majority of them are refugees. And an Anglican church in the UK says its weekly service attracts over 100 people, almost all of them are migrants.
I have been spat on, told that I have betrayed Islam, but through what I've learned, I can forgive them.
I'm easily spotted as a Christian in a refugee center. I see myself as a missionary telling people about Jesus. Since I became a Christian, I fear no one.
Für Muslime spielt Religion anders als für Westeuropäer eine ganz, ganz wichtige Rolle im Leben. Viele kommen mit dem Vorsatz nach Deutschland, hier habe ich Freiheit, meine Religion selber zu wählen und ich möchte eine Religion der Freiheit wählen. Für viele Iraner, die ich getauft habe, ist das Christentum die Religion der Freiheit.
And if we don't take constructive steps to deal with this, it is going to become an avalanche.
Sounds serious. Please, tell us more.
Something that is really threatening the core of our society.
What is it?
Something that is so severe, so serious, that almost every single day I deal with it. Every single day.
Stop teasing us!
And that is Muslim youth leaving Islam.
I like the sound of that. Can we get some statistics?
According to the studies that's been done, every 3 years, every 2-3 years, that average Muslim youth are leaving Islam. What percentage do you think that would be? Is it 2% of our youth? Is it 3? Give me a number. I want to share with you. Give me a number. 10, 5%. No, I want more than 5. 15, more. 20, more. 24% of Muslim youth are leaving Islam.
Let's hear it for Muslim youth. But I think that clip was missing something.
24% of Muslim youth are leaving Islam.
Many Muslims take it as a personal insult when you step out and step away from the religion. And I understand why they think that it is, but I think it's extremely, it creates a situation where people are afraid to speak their minds, where dissent isn't really respected on any level.
Many here asked not to be filmed. But there is a camaraderie that is born of a shared suffering, including threats of death and disownment, Syed said before the party.
We've had this happen multiple times, where one of our members, their families found out, and we get a call at midnight that I've been kicked out of the house and I need help.
Major polling organizations have not published data on how many Muslims in the US leave their faith.
Wow, this is awesome.
But former Muslims say the internet has made it easier than ever. Just a few years after its founding, ex-Muslims of North America now has chapters in more than a dozen cities.
I no longer believe that women should submit to me, or women being inferior to men.
I'm an ex-Muslim from the UK. I left Islam a year ago.
I left Islam about 7 years ago after discovering rather unpleasant details and practices of Prophet Muhammad.
In America, this is the last thing, 23% are becoming apostates of Muslims, American-born Muslims. It's a leather sock. Who cares if it's a leather sock or not, man? Your child is going to become an apostate.
I don't have to make excuses for why this is in the Quran or that is in the Quran for all the misogyny, terrorism, and violence.
I try really hard to defend Islam, but why is it only Muslims who commit terrorist attacks?
How come sometimes I experience racism when I go to the mosque?
The crazy stupid stuff that I was kind of like, like this is a bit awkward, like why did that happen? Why did the Prophet do that? That kind of stuff, they like really brushed over it nicely.
My life was based on Islam and its teachings, and it was collapsing before my eyes.
If Islam was such a peaceful religion, we wouldn't have to spend so much time defending it.
And I think even some of these scholars, these Muslim imams, I think some of them are ex-Muslim, but they obviously have too much to lose.
I believe that Islam is collapsing already. Because
it's collapsing?
It is collapsing. It looks from the outside, it's growing, but from the inside, it's completely collapsing. It's not giving answers to the people. It's not improving their lives. It's not helping them at all.
My dear brothers and sisters, because of the internet, we don't have the luxury to be in our beautiful bubble anymore. Because of the internet, I am strongly against ignoring the bigger problems out there. I have talked to too many people who have left the faith of our own children, and they say to me, we were taught lies, we were taught truths. It's not correct what we were taught.
This is how some of our youth feel. Researchers show that over 100,000 Muslims leave Islam every single year. Our youth are full of doubts and nobody's answering their questions.
The rise of apostasy. People are leaving Islam at unprecedented rates. The narrative of Islam being the fastest growing religion is no longer true. Bashir Mohammed, senior researcher at Pew, has stated that 23% of American Muslims no longer identify as Muslim.
There are millions, and that's shown by polling data. There are millions of atheists, agnostics, secularists, freethinkers in the Muslim world, living in Muslim majority countries right now, who have to publicly identify as Muslims. If they speak up against it, if they express their views openly, they'll get disowned by their families, they can get marginalized by their communities, they lose their friends, they can be imprisoned, they can be executed. Atheism is punishable by death in 13 countries around the world, all of which are Muslim majority countries. And the cost of them coming out and publicly speaking their views, right, and shaking off the Muslim label are really, the consequences are very dire.
I grew up in this religion. I studied it 16 years in the Moroccan schools. I speak Arabic. I was teaching Arabic in Egypt. So I know what I criticize. But if you, as Greek people, if Westerners, European people say the same as me, they tell them, oh, you are an Islamophobe. It means you are a racist, so shut your mouth. But when people like us have this speech, they cannot say we are racist. So those people, the fundamentalists in the countries where Islam is the religion of state, where they have the power, in those countries, if you criticize their religion, they just put you in jail or kill you. But in Europe, they have no legal tool to shut your mouth. So they accuse you of being Islamophobe, then racist.
Islamophobia, as a concept, or even as a theory, does not exist. Phobia means irrational fear. Nobody is afraid of Islam as a religion sitting in a book. Okay? If I put a Quran in front of you, will you start to fear? Will you run away from me? So this whole notion of Islamophobia is a political game. It's a political game, and it only works in societies where people are weak-minded, morally and intellectually bankrupt.
Hampir setiap hari saya menerima laporan ada yang murtad, terutama Sunda, Padang, Aceh, Betawi.
Tahu nggak Bapak Ibu, pemurtadan di dunia ini ya, paling berhasil di Indonesia loh. Yang mayoritas Muslim, tiap tahun itu lebih 1 juta orang Islam masuk Kristen. Banyak. Kita aja sini nggak terasa. Tapi coba datang ke Jawa Tengah, Salatiga di mana, Cirebon di mana, sampai Jawa Barat, banyak sekali.
Dulu umat Islam 99%, sekarang tinggal lebih kurang 80% umat Islam. Hampir 20%. Pertumbuhan gereja kita tertinggi di dunia, 380%. Lihat Nania, pemenang Indonesian Idol, habis sholat subuh murtad. Lihat Asmiranda, udah umroh murtad. Lihat Luqman Sardi, anak Idris Sardi murtad. Subhanallah.
Ini banyak ya, dari judulnya juga bangsa Indonesia banyak yang ingin pindah agama. Nah ini nih, dari Kalesa Amani Ramadhani 1 hari yang lalu. Kak, saya Islam tapi saya takut bilang sama keluarga saya. Zara Andrina Puspitasari 2 hari yang lalu, aku beragama Islam tapi aku mau masuk Kristen. Bagas Setiawan 4 hari yang lalu, saya Islam tapi saya ingin masuk Kristen karena ajaran Islam penuh kebencian. Tapi saya tidak bisa melawan orang tua saya yang Islam. Apakah saya harus masuk Kristen diam-diam atau mengajak orang tua masuk Kristen? Hai Kak, saya boleh minta solusi nggak? Saya Islam, keluarga saya juga semuanya Islam, tapi gak tahu kenapa saya pengen banget pindah keyakinan ke Kristen. Dan saya ngerasa kalau Tuhan Yesus selalu ada di samping saya, tapi saya nggak berani bilang ke keluarga karena takut bikin mereka kepikiran. Tapi saya pengen banget untuk pindah keyakinan. Tolong Kak, beri saya solusinya. Hello bro, welcome to Infuse.
Dulu saya dengan Gus Dur bicara seperti ini. Kata Gus Dur, ya memang begitu Pak Sakur. Saya ini beragama kayak pegang bara. Dilepas nggak boleh, dipegang saya sakit. Ya kan artinya. Oleh karena itu yuk sekarang kita berpikir. Jangan takut murtad dong. Daripada kamu mempercayai sesuatu yang tidak benar.